Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hello Neighbor show on Politics Matter Jamaica. We thank you for joining us. We are starting a little late, but we had a anniversary celebration to attend, and we lent our support, and so we are here with you. Thank you so much for tuning into the program. I'm going to start tonight by taking you to Professor the great Jamaican Oswald Harding. Oswald Harding was laid to rest today. He was a professor, very brilliant man, brilliant in philosophy. He was the longest serving member of the Senate, and he was laid to rest today. Mr. Warmington gave a tribute to Professor Oswald Harding. It is fascinating. Mr. Warmington today. It's fascinating to listen to Mr. Warmington. And I want you to tell me, as you listen to it, I'm going to play it for you. Listen to Mr. Warmington speaking about, there are some labor rights that are labor rights, but they don't know the history of the party. And some of them will tell you, say, you are no labor right. But I think if you are going to be part of an organization, you ought to understand where the organization is coming from. The Jamaica Labour Party has had some difficult days, And the Jamaica Labour Party is in its third term of office. Third term. And the party, the Jamaica Labour Party, is capable, some would even say likely, on course to win a fourth consecutive term in office. And you should not take it for granted. When you remember where this party is coming from, this Jamaica Labour Party, and the confidence of the Jamaican people must be preserved and must not be taken for granted either. And I want you to listen to Mr. Everald Warmington speaking today at Professor Oswald Harding's funeral. Go ahead with the tape of Mr. Warmington.
Pledge to be asked to move a tribute to a dear friend and brother. Ozzy and I travel the roads during good times and bad times, difficulties and good. Ozzy and I became friends after the Jamaica Labour Party lost the 1972 elections.
So I don't know if you're hearing. Tell me if you're hearing the tape, please. TikTok. Are you hearing? Are you hearing Mr. Warmington? Tell me. Are you hearing Mr. Warmington? We see the producer is with us. Good evening to you, Caroline. Nicely dressed out. Okay, let's.
Hi. Good evening, neighbor.
Hi.
Good evening, distance.
Yeah. Are you hearing?
Welcome, everyone.
Okay. Yes, they are hearing.
Elections.
Yes.
The time no one would stand for the party.
Share, repost, and send a heart please. And
Like
for
a
those
te-
of you over there on YouTube, very pleasant good evening. Could you please give the live a thumbs up, please? And for TikTok,
it wasn't
continue to
kosher
repost and
to
send
say
a
in
heart
public
please.
that you're a member of the Jamaica Labour Party and working for that party.
There was a time in Jamaica when you couldn't say you were a Labourite. There is my producer, my lovely, hardworking producer, Caroline, a lady I respect very much. In her green shirt. All over the world, people are watching her. There was a time in Jamaica when she couldn't do that. Listen to Wami.
We founded then Young Jamaica with people like Ozzy Harding, Peter Whittingham, Jerry Coombs.
How many Labourites know Peter Whittingham and Jerry Coombs? How many people knew that Mr. Warmington was a founding member of Young Jamaica and Professor the Honorable Dr. Oswald Harding? How many listening to me know? Knew. Where is Young Jamaica tonight? You see, history must be preserved. It is the foundation on which you build institutions. I see some little people jumping up, talk about them a Labourite, and want to put other people in their place. You know the history? Some of you know when the party was... Come on. Behave on yourself. Behave on yourself. Listen to Wami. All right, let's go back to Mr. Warmington.
The two elections, general elections. At the time, no one would stand for the party. But at the time, it wasn't kosher to say in public that you're a member of the Jamaica Labour Party and working for that party. We founded then Young Jamaica with people like Ozzy Harding, Peter Whittingham, Jerry Coombs, Sexton Hope, Desmond McKenzie. And we were the voice of the Jamaica Labour Party because after this 1972 election, the party looked at itself and started a civil war among themselves and were destroyed.
In 1972, the Jamaica Labour Party was having an internal civil war. The party that is now in its third term of government in 1972, that is 53 years ago. And you know who was sitting down in this audience? Bruce Golding. Bruce Golding was sitting down in this audience. It gets very interesting. Listen to Mr. Warmington.
Themselves as a party. It was Young Jamaica that carried the banner for the Jamaica Labour Party throughout the 70s. There was no party. To this extent, after the elections, Lightburn called the party a headless corp.
Lightburn called the party a headless corpse. You knew that? You knew that? It's riveting to hear Mr. Warmington. It's actually riveting. Go ahead.
Party throughout the 70s. There was no party. To this extent, after the elections, Lightburn called the party a headless corp and went elsewhere to form a new party. As he stood up, he said, "Oh, rudderless ship." As Harding stood up for the party and never wavered. We worked relentlessly. He was a member of the Crossroad Club. I was a member of the It was a member of court, the Thursday Club of Court Manor. I was a member of Crossroad Club, Desmond and I. We carried the fight throughout this country. He had no fear of anything. There are a lot of others who came after that, but they don't know the history of where Oswald Harding and a few of us came from in Hilding.
And that is part of what is happening right here online. Right here today. There are many people turn on their cameras, come up online, talking, say, them a labor right. And they don't know a thing about the party. They don't know a thing about the history of the Jamaica Labour Party. And some of them come a class people and want to even push people aside. And I dare say there are some turncoats. There are some other people who were never labor rights, but are now labor rights, so they say. And they come wanting to, can't say some of the things that I want to say. They're not labor rights. You know who is a labor right? People like Audley Shaw. Did you know that Delroy Chuck came from academia? Some of them online, we talk about them a block for Labour Party. They're not labor rights, They don't know a true labor right. Because you ask them the history of the Labour Party, they can't tell you. Some of them don't even know the anthem. Equal right and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your right. When you hear the bell, stand up, Jamaica. How much of them know the anthem? But them come a class people. Anyway, 20 to 8 o'clock. Mr. Everald Warmington was speaking at the funeral service of Honorable Oswald Gaskell Harding. A brilliant laborite.
The party together at the time. All attacks were then directed at Mr. Shearer. No one man, as I said, no one man lose an election, just as though no one man lose an election. Therefore, we all should take the blame if we lost an election, but not you, Lawson Shearer. They shouldn't kill you, Lawson. We stood and we fought relentlessly. During the state of emergency, when a lot of other people were being picked up and sent to detention, Oswald and myself were out there as brothers in the field.
How many Jamaicans know about that? How many labor rights knew about the state of emergency, the state of public emergency? When labor rights were locked up for political purposes. You know why some people are hurt right here in this Labour Party? Is that some of the warriors are being made to feel as if to say, them a hurry come up. And some of them were just a come. I go on like I say, well, them is the rock stone. I never started out this program here by wearing a green shirt. But enough of you know about Labour Party like me. I can tell you that. Enough of you know this up. Don't know a thing about the Labour Party. You want to know about Labour Party? Ask HelloNeighbour. This is something where I don't have to talk. And because you criticize the party, you're no Labour right? Go away. Listen to Mr. Warmington. You can't be more Labour right than Warmy. You can't more Labour right than Everald Warmington. And I want you to listen to Mr. Warmington speaking truth. Because when you speak truth, people say, "Hey, man, you're not Labour right. You know nothing about Labour Party. You know nothing about Labour Party. You know how 18 and a half years felt in opposition. You know how that felt? You know what people bawl when the PNP won in 1989, and then 1993, 1997, 2011. You know how people bawl? You think a little bit of money some people spend, and the trenches that some of people went into? What you know about Labour Party? You gonna come up and like, oh, he man no Labour right, he man no Labour right. You don't know a thing about Labour Party. Some of you are trying a thing.
We have never left each other on the political field. We have never run away from political battles. He was quiet in his demeanor and presentation.
As a matter of fact, let me just break Mr. Warmington and tell you this. You know when politics hot in Jamaica. You never know when politics hot in Jamaica. When it was literally war. And as Mr. Warmington said, to be a Labourite then meant your life was at risk. You never dare wear a green shirt. You up online talking about, you know, you can turn on your live. That is why I've never hid my face. From the first day I started a live, my face has always been seen. And some of you have the audacity to define who is a Labourite. You don't have no such audacity. You don't have no such privilege. Here you hear about Labourite. Here you hear about Labour Party. Here you hear about it. You don't know nothing about party, Labour Party. You don't know about the struggle. The struggle that many fought for the party to be in power for 3 times now. 3 terms, even some of the members of parliament, right now in the parliament. Some of them don't even know the history of the party. And many people in Jamaica gave their blood for the party to be where it is today. Going for a 4th term in office. Don't take it lightly. Respect the elders. Respect the elders. And those who stood up through the Cold War, through 18 and a half years of opposition, through embarrassment, sun and rain. People like Ryan Peralta, Babsy Grange, CM Everald Warmington there, Audley Shaw, Desmond McKenzie.
But I was the opposite to him. They would work together throughout these things. When a lot of things went down, Hazy was the voice of reasoning, was the voice of justice in the Jamaica Party and government. And one of the things that drew me closer to Hazy and to Marigold is during the 80s, in my darkest days, when I was at the end of the rope, as they stand strong, do not give up. stay and fight.
Let me tell you something. You know, I'm going to launch a little club, and I hope that it's going to be an exclusive thing, you know, because I don't want the voice notes to leak. So when we launch it and we start to have some discussions, we don't want it to leak. There are some things that cannot be said on here. There are a lot of things that can't say it on the program. So we're going to have to get a group together that we can have some of these discussions in. But Mr. Warmington is giving you a little snippets, you know, a little insight into some other things. Listen to him.
Fight.
You ever want to repost the live?
When I was persecuted by my own party, only 2 persons stood with me.
When I was persecuted by my own party, only 2 persons stood with me. Mr. Warmington is saying this because, you know, I don't want to say much. Let Mr. Warmington speak.
It's for justice in the Jamaica party and government. And one of the things that drew me closer to Hazi and to Marigold is during the 80s, in my darkest days, when I was at the end of the rope, I said, stand strong, do not give up, stay and fight. When I was persecuted by my own party, only 2 persons stood with me. My own party and my own government persecuted me in the 80s. 2 persons stood with me.
I bet you say some laborites didn't know that. I bet you. I bet you say many people didn't know that. But I know that. I know Mr. Warmington's story. I bet some of you didn't know that Mr. Warmington had to left Jamaica. Go ahead.
And that was Hazi Harding and Dr. Percy Broderick. Against all the pressure that came on them, say, move away from him, do not associate yourself with him. Those 2 stood for justice and for reason.
And let me pause and say something to you. Me, neighbor. That is why I respect my my producer. She stand up with me. Thank you, Caroline. Because I have a story, you know. And one day, not long from now, I'm going to tell you the story. Because I too have gone through persecution in my own country. Don't think that this man sitting down here say, don't have a story. And one day I will tell you my story.
And it's true as the audience why I'm standing here.
And you're going to understand why I have a microphone. And it's true, Caroline, why I'm standing here.
Today is it true as the audience why I'm here. The friendship, the guidance, the support I got from Hazi and Marigold. I can tell those 2, the love between them was made in heaven. At the time, during my persecution, one was kicked out of Parliament unceremoniously.
He was kicked out of Parliament unceremoniously. Go and read your history. He was kicked out of Parliament unceremoniously.
And was driven out of the country where my own
driven out of Jamaica. You hear that?
Government, the Prime Minister then and his General Secretary cannot be employed in this country. As the Hardy never left me. Even when I went.
Why I tell you something? This is hot. But it was said by Mr. Warmington. today. Listen to him again.
Dr. Percy Broderick. Against all the pressure that came on them, say, move away from him, do not associate yourself with him. Those two stood for justice and for reason. And it's true as the audience why I'm standing here today. It's true as the audience why I'm here. The friendship, the guidance, the support I got from Hazi and Marigold. I can tell those two, the love between them was made in heaven. At the time, during my persecution, one was kicked out of parliament unceremoniously and was driven out of the country where my own government, the prime minister then and his general secretary said, I cannot be employed in this country. As the Harding never left me. Even when I went abroad, every day, every week, as the Harding and I would be on the phone. I came back, he encouraged me, he stood with me in politics. When Ozzy was on his sick bed, you can rest assured that at least twice a week, I can get a call from Ozzy and we discuss everything. Because he knew I was persecuted for nothing. And the only sin I committed then, and as he spoke about it every day, I happened to have won a constituency that was ordained by God for a particular family. And I should not have been there. And that was why the prime minister then and the general secretary took it on themselves to persecute me. And in my darkest day, when I have two young children, one 2 years old and one was 6 months, and I was kicked out.
Did you know Mr. Warmington had children? 2 young children? Wow.
As he was the only one on project, stood with me, gave me encouragement. This is why I survived and I'm here today. I owe all I have to Oswald Harding and Marigold Harding. They gave that to me and gave that strength to me. Hazi was the longest serving senator, the longest serving president of the Senate. He gave his all. When we had problem in the parties those days, Hazi was always there as a reasoned voice, a person for justice and honesty and honor. And we are proud of him, what he gave. As I said, he did it in this quiet way, ways opposite to how we did. But we are grateful to Hazi Harding. There are many today in government or in the party who don't know where it came from.
Yes.
I have no idea. But Hazi Harding...
I'm sorry, I have to agree with that. There are many today in government and in the party don't know the history. Don't know where it's coming from. They don't know where it's coming from.
Is a foundation, and he laid what the many today are at the end of the line, at the top of the line on receiving. Because of the work of Hazi Harding, myself, Stex and Hope, Peter Whitcomb and others. And today I'm honored to be standing here and speaking for someone who stood for justice, stood with me in my dark days, brought me through, encouraged me throughout my life in New York when I was exiled. And I came back, received me into his arms, and worked with me. I worked with him throughout his political life, so did he with me. And today, Marigold, I'm honored to stand here to speak, pay tribute to this great Jamaican, this great man. Thanks for the privilege, Marigold. Hazi, my friend, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. May the angel take you on the wings into paradise. May Abraham come to meet that gate and take you in the joy of the New Jerusalem. My brother and friend, farewell. Farewell.
Member of Parliament Clifford Warmington, as he gave his tribute to Professor the Honorable Oswald Gaskell Harding today. I feel like I want to play it again uninterrupted. Listeners, let me know. Would you want to hear him again? Because I think it's so fascinating. I think I want to do it again uninterrupted. I had to chip in, yeah, a little bit. I'm going to play it uninterrupted for you. And I want you to listen to Mr. Warmington as he paid tribute to Mr. Oswald Harding. And I hope it silences a lot of laborites who, you know, from time to time make others feel as if they are not welcomed in the party. And some of them just are come. And this are come. Anyway, let's go in and give you
The required guest speaker or a courtesy call. And
yes, Caroline.
Before you play it, I'm going to ask some of our listeners to please send a heart knees before neighbor start playing this.
Well, yes.
And for those of you on YouTube, asking you to press that X and give the thumbs up to the live, please. So press that X at the top on YouTube, just there, and give the thumbs up to the likes, please.
Thank you so much.
And for those of you on TikTok, asking about 5 people to send the heart knees, please.
Lovely. Okay.
YouTube, I'm not getting the thumbs up. Could you please send the thumbs up, please?
Yeah. Thumbs up, like and share, please remember. Let's go in for Mr. Warmington. And producer, get me Harry or Scratchy just after. Let me talk to them a little bit about this. Go ahead.
This morning I'm honored and privileged to be asked to move a tribute to a dear friend and brother. Ozzy and I travel the roads during good times and bad times, difficulties and good. Ozzy and I became friends after the Jamaica Labour Party lost the 1972 general elections. At the time, no one would stand for the party. But at the time, it wasn't kosher to say in public that you're a member of the Jamaica Labour Party and working for the party. We founded then Young Jamaica with people like Ozzy Harding, Peter Whittingham, Jerry Coombs, Sexton Hope, Desmond McKenzie. And we were the voice of the Jamaica Labour Party, because after the 1972 election, the party looked at itself and started a civil war among themselves and were destroying themselves as a party. It was Young Jamaica that carried the banner for the Jamaica Labour Party throughout the 70s.
Wow.
There was no party. To this extent, after the elections, Lightburn called the party a headless corp, and went elsewhere to form a new party. As he stood up, he said, "Oh, rudderless ship." As Ozzy Harding stood up for the party and never wavered. We worked relentlessly. He was a member of the Crossroad Club. I was a member of the, he was a member of the Thursday Club of Court Manor. I was a member of Crossroad Club, Desmond and I. We carried the fight throughout this country. He had no fear of anything. There are a lot of others who came after that, but I don't know the history of where Ozzy Harding and a few of us came from in holding a party together at that time. All attacks were then directed at Mr. Shearer. No one man, as Ozzy said, no one man lose an election, just as though no one man lose an election. Therefore, we all should take the blame if we lost an election, but not you, Lawson Shearer. They shouldn't kill you, Lawson. We stood and we fought relentlessly. During the state of emergency, when a lot of other people were being picked up and sent to detention, Ozzy Harding and myself were out there as brothers in the field. We have never left each other on the political field. We have never run away from political battles. He was quiet in his demeanor and presentation, but I was the opposite to him. So we worked together throughout these things. When a lot of things went down, Ozzy was the voice of reasoning, was the voice for justice in the Jamaica Party and government. And one of the things that drew me closer to Ozzy and to Marigold is during the 80s, in my darkest days, when I was at the end of the rope, Ozzy said, "Stand strong, do not give up, stay and fight." When I was persecuted by my own party, only 2 persons stood with me. My own party and my own government persecuted me in the 80s. 2 persons stood with me, and that was Hazzy Harding and Dr. Percy Broderick. Against all the pressure that came on them, say, move away from him, do not associate yourself with him. Those 2 stood for justice and for reason. And it's true as the Harding why I'm standing here today. It's true as the Harding why I'm here. The friendship, the guidance, the support I got from Hazzy and Marigold. I can tell those 2, the love between them was made in heaven. At the time, during my persecution, one was kicked out of Parliament unceremoniously and was driven out of the country where my own government, the Prime Minister then and his General Secretary said, I cannot be employed in this country. Hazzy Harding never left me. Even when I went abroad, every day, every week, Hazzy Harding and I would be on the phone. I came back, he encouraged me, he stood with me in politics. When Hazzy was on his sick bed, you can rest assured that at least twice a week, I can get a call from Hazzy and we discuss everything. Because he knew I was persecuted for nothing. And the only sin I committed then, and as he spoke about it every day, I happened to have won a constituency that was ordained by God for a particular family. And I should not have been there. And that was why the Prime Minister then and the General Secretary took it on themselves to persecute me. And in my darkest day, when I have 2 young children, one 2 years old and one was 6 months and I was kicked out, Hazzy was the only one on project stood with me, gave me encouragement. This is why I survived and I'm here today. I owe all I have to Oswald Harding and Marigold Harding. They gave that to me and gave that strength to me. Hazzy was the longest serving senator, the longest serving president of the Senate. He gave his all. When we had problems with parties those days, Hazzy was always there as a reasoned voice, a person for justice and honesty and honor. And we are proud of him, what he gave. As I said, he did it in this quiet way, ways opposite to how I did. But we are grateful to Hazzy Harding. There are many today in government or in the party who don't know where it came from. I have no idea. But Hazzy Harding is a foundation, and he laid what the many today are at the end of the line, at the top of the line on receiving. Because of the work of Hazzy Harding, myself, Sticks and Hope, Peter Whitcomb and others. And today I'm honored to be standing here and speaking for someone who stood for justice, stood with me in my dark days, brought me through, encouraged me throughout my life in New York when I was exiled. And I came back, received me into his arms, and worked with me. I worked with him throughout his political life, so did he with me. And today, Marigold, I'm honored to stand here to speak, pay tribute to this great Jamaican, this great man. Thanks for the privilege, Marigold. Hazzy, my friend, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. May the angel take you on the wings into paradise. May Abraham come to meet your gates and take you to the joy of the New Jerusalem. My brother and friend, farewell. Farewell.
Well, there you have it.
Right, Chase, Rooney.
A stalwart of the Jamaica Labour Party, Everald Warmington. And I bet you, Mr. Warmington touched some nerves there that are very sensitive, and some things are better left unsaid. But I have Scratchy and I have Harry. Good evening to you, Scratchy. Hello. I have Scratchy coming through on TikTok.
Esteban, night.
How are you, Scratchy?
Not bad, sir.
Yes, and Harry, are you there?
I'm your neighbor. I'm here.
Yeah.
Everything is good. Scratch, Caroline.
Well, thank you for joining us. Let me start with you, Scratchy. You listen to Mr. Warmington, and it occurred to me, Scratchy, that people like Mr. Warmington sometimes don't get the respect they due. But when you listen to Warming, there really would have been no Labour Party without these men, Scratchy.
Neighbour, when you look at, I mean, Mr. Warmington, neighbour, a man who has been in the parliament, neighbour, for so long. Stalwart neighbour, rock soul neighbour, right? Despite all his tribulation in here, he touched on it a bit there in his speech, neighbour. Definitely, neighbour, one of the shapers, neighbour, of Labour Party. One of the persons, neighbour, who was seen, neighbour, in this new political cycle now, where he has stand up, neighbour, for the defence of this party on more than one occasion, neighbour. In style that a lot of person might not agree with, neighbour, but whatever style he used, don't I won't judge it by his style, I judge by his action, neighbour. The mere fact, neighbour, that Yahweh sees it fit to stand up in defence of his political organisation that he supports, neighbour, no matter what. And I definitely never agree with that. Mr. Warmington is one of those politicians who I don't think get the full credit. I don't know, maybe it's because of his flamboyant.
But he sounds also a disappointed man, because when you listen to Mr. Warmington, Harry, a man who says that his own party, he had to leave Jamaica because of the party, and went away in New York, and he was persecuted by his own party, and yeah, Mr. Warmington can be a little, you know how he stays, but Scratchy, has the party dealt with him fairly?
Definitely, but I won't say I don't know what Mr. Warmington would want, neighbor, personally. I don't know, but from where I stand and where I'm looking, neighbor, I'm definitely, neighbor, outside the party has definitely dealt with Mr. Warmington fairly, neighbor. Mr. Warmington, neighbor, has been a cabinet minister on more than one occasion, you know. Even the current position that he was afforded the other day, neighbor.
At the electoral commission.
And the electoral commission board, neighbor.
Big position. Big position.
Yeah, big position. It's not a position, neighbor, where a political organization is just going to select anybody to give that position, neighbor. That position comes with some form of authority. That position comes with some form of respect. And I think, neighbor, we have heard Mr. Warmington speak, neighbor, about not running back and stuff like that, neighbor. So this put him on this commission, neighbor, might be some form of reward as well from the political party, saying that, okay, Mr. Warmington, you're not a part of the cabinet because of whatever reason, but here's an next position that still was some form of power and authority, and you're the person who we would want to be on this island and everything, and you're stewardship and all, you know, of the politics and everything. Here is it. So definitely, neighbor, a position like that, neighbor, can be seen, neighbor, as a reward, neighbor, to Mr. Warmington, neighbor, because not anybody, a political organization is going to award a spot like that, neighbor.
The way Mr. Warmington carried out this tribute, there were stalwarts in the party in the audience, including former Prime Minister Bruce Golding. What do you think about how he laid it out and spoke?
I mean, neighbor, we know Mr. Warmington, neighbor, as a man, neighbor, who don't mince his words, neighbor. And based on this tribute, neighbor, if you're listening to Mr. Warmington, neighbor, this is not a style, neighbor. This is not a Mr. Warmington that we hear or see regular, neighbor. If you could hear the compassion in his voice, you know. You could see, neighbor, you could hear the hurt at some point in his voice also, and you could also hear, neighbor, the respect, neighbor, that he owes, neighbor, for the gentleman who you were acknowledging and making reference to.
Dr. Hardy.
Yes. So it goes to show, neighbor, that it's not just the content, but how he sounded, neighbor, and it's not about Warmington that we see regular. And the speech of Mr. Warmington, neighbor, a very touching one. You can see that he was in his emotion, neighbor. He was talking, he was speaking deep from within his heart and his soul.
Unscripted,
neighbor, and he was just expressing how we feel, neighbor. And I don't think anyone in the audience, neighbor, should take any offense, or anyone will take offense, neighbor. They would understand, neighbor, that where Mr. Warmington is speaking from, neighbor, to where he's at now, neighbor, and where we look at where he's coming from, and look at his present position, neighbor, is something that he has to talk about and give acknowledgement of.
Fantastic. Finally, for you, Scratchy, there are young labor rights, some of them on TikTok, and you know, from time to time, you know, Scratchy, I get the feeling that they do not fully appreciate the history and where this Labour Party is coming from. And sometimes they tend to be disrespectful to elders and people who are in the trenches, Scratchy. And when you look at the Labour Party in its third term, and there is talk of a fourth and a fifth term. Scratchy is not a position that the party should take for granted, not true. The party is coming from a far place. 1972, there was hardly a party. You could barely put on a green shirt in Jamaica. To now see the Labour Party in the ascendancy, and some people are come go on, like I said, some of us can't even talk for the party. Sometimes we have to make them know, say, them are not the only Labour right, Scratchy.
No, definitely not, neighbor. I lift my hats, neighbor, to everyone, neighbor, who support neighbor and vote for this noble organization, neighbor. But at the same time, again, I've definitely neighbor would agree that some respect and respect must be shown to, yes. But you know, they never say where they say everybody have one vote. But despite everybody have one vote, neighbor, if we should go back in our history, neighbor, and look at where this political organization is coming from, I'm still a young bird, neighbor. But there's a lot of stalwarts, neighbor, in this, neighbor, who I think, neighbor, that a credit should be given to these persons.
Even online here in the blogging field.
I'm definitely, neighbor, even online here in the blogging field, neighbor. I see in case in point, neighbor, when you look at even a man like Mr. Chuckfield, neighbor. You know, Mr. Chuckfield, I understand. Mr. Chuckfield, I come from them days, I understand what it was like back in the days. I was a child. Mr. Chuckfield might have been more. In younger days where, you know, it was difficult for you to put on a green shirt. It was difficult for you to put on anything green. I remember the child, neighbor, downtown Kingston is a commercial area that's very close to where I live, neighbor. And persons from my community, neighbor, whenever they are going downtown, neighbor, they have to be very, very cautious, neighbors, to make sure that they don't wear anything that is green. Because if they should go downtown in anything that is green, neighbor, it might cause problem, you know. Persons who were working neighbor to tell lie and they're just because they couldn't let persons know that they live in this community that support the Jamaican Labour Party so strong. I say would have lost their job. So it was a whole lot, neighbor. This political organization is coming from so far, neighbor.
Yes, so far a lot.
Mr. Siaga tried from last election in 1989. Didn't get to see back Jamaica House, neighbor, as a prime minister, neighbor. A man who stood up for this organization as well. A point in time, neighbor, where the party was even so fractured, you know, so damaged, neighbor, and fractured, neighbor, where, you know, persons were saying that it was doom and doom for the Jamaican Labour Party. They can't see this political organization recovering from this, neighbor. And again, Bruce Gordon came in, neighbor, and played a magnificent role, neighbor, in creating some form of unity, neighbor. And we saw what happened, and Bruce Gordon as a step aside, neighbor. And then Andrew Wallace, neighbor, from Andrew Wallace take over, neighbor. It was a glory day. So everybody, the party is so diverse, neighbor, where we have persons who neighbor, would consider themselves, neighbor, who might even go as far, neighbor, and say them a share, or them a bust them, but we have persons who might say them a Siaga neighbor, right, neighbor, because their time, neighbor, their younger time, and their dominant time in the politics, neighbor, was while Mr. Siaga was the leader of the party, neighbor. You have persons who might say that they were Bruce Gordon, neighbor, right, neighbor, because their time or their prime was under Bruce Gordon, you know. And then now you have the Andrew Wallace, neighbor, right, them, neighbor, where almost all of us, but the Gen Z, you know, really take on to this prime minister and can say, yes, it's a freedom prime minister, neighbor. So it's not really to say they don't understand or they might don't show respect to the past elders or the past stalwarts of the party, but it's just a fact of how magnificent this leader is, neighbor. When him does a bask in him success and a bask in him honor and him glory and everything, you know. So everybody, neighbor, have them favorite leader, neighbor. But despite everybody have them favorite leader, we are all one Labour right, neighbor, and we are starting with the 1 PM right now, presently going forward.
Fantastic. Hold on there for me, Harry. Let me just talk to Uncle Chuck a little bit. Good evening to you, Chuck Finlay. Hello.
Good night, neighbor.
How are you? Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Well, I'm not hearing you very well at all. You have to come closer to the phone.
Better now?
Better now. Chuck Finlay, as you listen to Mr. Warmington today, what came to your mind? How do you feel about Mr. Warmington's presentation?
Well, neighbor, as somebody who know the history, I can tell you that Warming is the definition of the term racks to the neighbor, right? Warmington has been through it, both from in the opposition and in his own party. So Warming knew exactly what he was talking about. And as Scratchy put really, this side of Warmington is at a side that we see very often. But we have have never seen Warmington in this vulnerable position of people. Warmington actually exposed a softer side and said, nobody, most people didn't know exists. We know Warmington, they know who was a rough and tumble person, but this was a compassionate one, a person that was hurting because his friend was gone, was lying, you know. So that's a different Warming, and as I said, it was just to see a different side of the man. You know, that was good, different side of it. And Scott was the position that Warming has now sitting in the electoral commission is one of the position that the party will cherish. Right? That's a position that the party cherish and only give that position to trusted persons. I remember that Edward Siaga had Ryan Corral to be a 5 years because that was the person he trusted most. So it's not a simple position. He's there now to watch over the position of the party. It was in the 70s and back in the 90s. The PNP had a playbook, and they're still trying it today. It's not working now, where they feel that if you destroy the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, the followers will come back. So in the 70s, that's what they did. They attacked Shearer. In the 80s and 90s, they attacked Siaga. Right? And then we saw what it did to us in the 90s. The attack on Siaga have us in power in opposition for 18 and a half years. But I've always said this, it wasn't the PNP that kept us in opposition for 18 and a half years. It was the fact that the Labour Party was not united back then. A united Labour Party is the most dangerous Labour Party. Right? And we get back to some unity under Bruce Golding in the 2007, and we have not looked back since. Right? So, as I say, it was good hearing that side of Warming. Very good hearing that side of Warming. I will look forward to seeing that side of it more often.
Yeah, the Jamaica Labour Party, Chuck, is in its third consecutive term, and there is talk about a possible fourth term. A party that is
coming from strange circles.
A party that is coming from 1972, when there was very hardly a party, came through the 80s and the 90s to where it is now. Isn't it a tremendous recalibrating of itself and something that I think the young people in the party ought to understand and preserve, to know where the party is coming from?
But maybe when some of these young people, they actually takes the Labour Party personal. Them see it as their party, and now they're not leaving it up to chance. The Labour right in the 70s, the Labour right in the 90s, left it up to chance. This set of Labour right there are not, they're willing to fight for their party, even if it means they're fighting for the Labour rights. That's how serious this generation takes the party.
That's how you read it, Chuck. That's how you read it.
That's how I speak to them here, but I know so that's their thinking. They take the party personal. They love the party. It is their party. And when they hear the history of what happened, when they see what is the attack that the party leader is going through, no, if the attack that is on Andrew now, I want to think that it is probably worse than the attack that Siaga went through. Siaga went through an attack, but Siaga didn't have social media. Siaga didn't have people overseas calling him a certain name. Right? So this set of Labour right here, but them own the party leader, and they are defending and will continue to defend the party. So Labour, sometimes they deem something as attack, and they will rise up against it, Labour. So trust me, that's the thinking that they have.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I really am happy to hear that. Let me ask you this. The playbook of the PNP though, Mr. Warmington spoke of the 1976 state of emergency, where the PNP literally prosecuted labor rights and locked them up. I can't see that happening now. They are in opposition. But the playbook seems to be the same. Destroy your political opponent. Do you get the feeling that that has That playbook is still at work?
The playbook is still at work. The effect is no longer there. The playbook is still there. The playbook is still there. They are still throwing everything they can at Andrew Holness to destroy Andrew Holness. But they buck up on a different breed of labor right in this time.
You mean the supporters? The supporters,
yes.
Uh-huh.
The supporters this time are different. They are not going to lay down on the PNP of their own way. This set of labor rights will fight.
Oh.
This set of labor right is willing to fight for them party and to defend them party leader. If Siaga did have some labor right like no, PNP would never have 18 years in office. PNP would never have 18 years in office if Siaga did have this breed of labor right that is here today. And labor right were this serious. Remember, we are coming to a time where they say, schools in Jamaica had to change their uniform from green. School children who have nothing to do with politics had to change their uniform because it was too dangerous to wear green.
Let me ask you this though. And Scratchy. By the way, hold on there, Chuck coming. Member Harry, hold on a little. Scratchy.
Yes, neighbor.
Do you agree with Chuck that this group of Labour Party people are fighters? Because I don't get the sense that there is sufficient activism on the part of the Labour rights. I don't know. Do you think so?
I'm definitely neighbor. This group is you have a different breed or a different crop of Labour rights now, neighbor, compared to back then, neighbor. Back then, neighbor, Labour rights were more reserved, Labour rights were more cautious. Labour rights were more afraid. Labour rights were more timid. So we have since going into 2007 election, neighbor, we have seen an emergence, a big emergence of a new set of Labour rights, We even and I think a lot of what people help with that, neighbor, is social media. But then in 2007 election it was Facebook, and Facebook and other WhatsApp or MySpace or whatever I wanted to back then or whatever was going on or whatever, they use at that time, neighbor, that really pushed that that's when, neighbor, the big talk about young people started to emerge, neighbor. It was around the 2007 election. And we have managed to see, neighbor, where the young people continuously to follow the Jamaica Labour Party from 2007, neighbor, until now. And they're even more inclined to join and support the Jamaica Labour Party now, even more than ever, neighbor. So yes, I would definitely agree with Chuck, neighbor. These Labour rights are more ready, neighbor, to come out and speak, neighbor. These Labour rights, neighbor, have an appreciation for flush toilet. These Labour rights, neighbor, have an appreciation for good roads. These Labour rights, neighbor, have an appreciation, neighbor, to be afforded the opportunity to shower and to take a bath and a running shower, neighbor, instead of a bath pan, So everything, neighbor, that this government is changing across the length and breadth of Jamaica, neighbor. These Labour rights are appreciative of it, neighbor, and they are going to stand up in defense for it, neighbor, because they are not going back to the bath pan, they are not going to the bad road, back to the bad road, neighbor, and they are not going back to the pit latches.
Okay, hold on. Member Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
Remember, you have the media that is largely not supportive of the Jamaica Labour Party. The civil society groups, including the church, not supportive of the Jamaica Labour Party. And I'm not so sure about the business class. But even with the opposition to the party has still maintained to retain government for 3 consecutive times. Is this what these guys are talking about? Or maybe I should ask you, how has the party been able to do that with the opposition from the PNP, the civil society groups and media? Everything else seems to be going against the party, but the party still maintains its control of government. How?
Well, for one of the starting points in a neighbor is based on the current leader, right? The youngest one to ever become a prime minister. And as such, it sends a different message at the time, because at the time in Parliament, you would have majority of persons what I call pre-independence babies. And the youthful Jamaica population was getting more and more youthful within that time frame, early 2000s coming up. And we wanted to see a change. We were tired to see the same old faces, the Roger Clark, the Peter Phillips, everybody from pre-independence. And it was coming into a realm where the youthful or the young people their voices were never heard. They were cast aside technically. In fact, even the current opposition member of parliament, Damian Crawford, wrote a piece about how young people felt within that time. And he was echoing it right through both parties, right? And when Andrew Holness took to the scene, he represented the youthful people in society. And as such, they could have actually see themselves in him. He gave a voice to those who were young people at the time, neighbor. When you ask for suggestions and they give it, it was almost like you're just doing it out of courtesy. Their needs were never considered by the government of the time, right? With the PJ partisan going out and so on. They were never considered. And as such, it was about time we saw a transition that happened. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party was able to do it, under very hard conditions, regarding to what happened in 2010, 2011 going up. It wasn't the best, but the young people got a leader that they can look to. They couldn't look to a Peter Phillips neighbor. They couldn't look to a Omar. None of those people. And very few could have looked to, for example, if you went with a Audley Shaw at the time for the Jamaica Labour Party, if he had won that internal election. But that was the start of something where the more youthful people saw themselves. They felt inclusive once and for all. Now, the Jamaica Labour Party was able to do that very quickly, neighbor, with Andrew Holness, that started it for them. And then the transition continued where we saw mainstream media slowly becoming obsolete. We were embracing cleaner type of politics, neighbor, not the tribalistic, ground war kind of settings, because the country would have moved away from that, thankfully to globalization and so on. And the Jamaica Labour Party positioned themselves very well, starting with that G2K team, neighbor, with Warren Newby and those guys, Steve Wright and all of them, between 2005 coming up to 2007 election, helped change that. And as such, young people said, hey, this is the party we're going with. We've seen the People's National Party. There's nothing that they've done well for us. It's the same old. It's time for a change. And the Jamaica Party gave them the voice they so wanted. And that transition. Now, as mainstream media got obsolete slowly, neighbor, we were embracing what I call disruptive technologies. We're embracing it now. Like we have TikTok here, neighbor. Facebook was booming in that time. It was brand new. So people got a lot of interactions there. And like I said, the party was embracing more youthful people. They were giving new ideas that were coming from them. And as such, it was a great movement by the party at the time. And the People's National Party never get the memo. They went for, as everybody said, Mama P, but she was still seen as a pre-independence baby. The same old, and didn't represent the majority of the people, because like I said, Jamaica's population was more youthful and is still youthful, neighbor, to an extent to where it is one where we see more people pushing for it. But the People's National Party failed in that area to actually go ahead and capitalize on it. They practice this from the same old book, the same tricks, the same everything we're seeing now, nothing different. And a lot of people saw that and said, listen, you've been doing the same thing over and over. We won't make the same mistake our parents and our grandparents made. We were never going along the family lines of just voting because I can vote for this party alone. We wanted to see substance. We demanded it. And as such, the People's National Party was unable to provide that, while the Jamaica Labour Party showed that 2007 victory showed that we could deliver in the harshest of times. We could still consider the largest part of the population to bring that economic growth. And the people, while they went back to the People's National Party temporarily, they realized that period, neighbor, was a fight between a young Jamaica, not in terms of the Jamaica Labour Party affiliate, but it was a fight between young Jamaica and those pre-independence babies in the society. Most people don't want to speak about it, but that was that generational warfare in the politics of Jamaica that took place silently, and we see how the politics has changed.
Okay, let's go to another story. Mr. Golding falling short on leadership. Let's listen to Mr. Cliff Hughes from Nationwide, and then I'm going to ask you guys to comment on that for me shortly. Listen to Mr. Hughes.
Was an awful failure. What Golding demonstrated yesterday afternoon was an awful failure of leadership. And frankly, he's been under pressure in the party. He suffered a loss in the elections of last year, an election that the whole party thought they were going to win and win handsomely, and he led them to defeat. And ever since then, and even before, there were always questions about his leadership ability, whether he could take them across the line. He did not. And with each passing day, more and more it is becoming apparent that he simply doesn't have the ability to take them across the line.
Mr. Cliff Hughes, Harry, Golding is a failed leader.
Of course he is, neighbor. In fact, we've seen it from the get-go that he's not really the one leading the People's National Party, neighbor. I've publicly
but why eulogize? Why eulogize him at this point? Mr. Hughes is saying that clearly Golding is almost can't do it. You feel the same?
Neighbor, it's not even feel. I've taken the feelings out of it and look at the evidence he has given us. For months we've been saying Mark has missed the mark. I've said he's missed many layups, and he continues to miss layups, neighbor. Even as bad as the current situation is regarding that leaked voice note.
Get into it.
Right? It created an opportunity for him now not to just distance the party from what has happened, but also to ensure that he reinstate that integrity. Remember, he calls himself the integrity boss.
Yes.
And he could have come out. One of the first things you'd have to do is to ensure that you took action internally first, because the time frame he took to acknowledge it, neighbor, and he didn't do it out of himself doing it. He was forced by the media, by everything that's happening and speaking mainstream media. He was then forced by the traction on social media itself, neighbor. And then here's what beat him. You see, all those times where he's been calling for who's supposed to who's supposed to resign, and the integrity ticket, neighbor. Remember, I tell you that was going to come back and bite him, and he should be very careful, because he has laid it on so thick from election time coming now. It was only a matter of time that he had to break the silence. But the pressure came in on the silence before he could even put a sensible statement together. And the opportunity here for him was to distance the party, distance himself, and also act in good leadership faith, neighbor, to not necessarily just punish who's supposed to punish, but condemn the act. Because he has not condemned the act in a neighbor.
No, he has not.
It is something you have to do explicitly, neighbor.
Yes.
In this case, you are far from the A-ball, right? Your party is failing. Your leadership challenges, everything is happening for you. And I think he panicked a little because he wasn't sure how to respond. That's one of the major things in a neighbor. And then, like I said, the pressure of saying, oh, he stood with, for example, Dennis Gordon, that backfired. He spoke about the integrity, that backfired. He ran up with the Andrew Wheatley thing should resign, that backfired. And now the ball has fallen in his court, and he's damn if he do and damn if he don't, and he doesn't know how to make the right decision. Because this is where you put the ability, neighbor,
Uh-huh.
on the line and stick your head out as a leader to say, listen, I'm going to take the blow for this. But you know why he couldn't do that, neighbor? Because the party is divided as it stands, and he doesn't know who is with him and who is against him. Neither does he know who is undecided within the party.
Uh-huh.
It's a very peculiar time that this has happened, you know. But he failed again, neighbor, to deliver in good faith to what the people expected, because you cannot run on an integrity ticket. And when the time comes, you can't show say you have integrity. And that was what cramped him, neighbor. And here's the other thing. Him taking a strong decision or condemning it outright against Mario Mitchell and I don't remember the lady name, put him in a very sticky situation between a rock and a hard place, because remember, his leadership that he so wants and clings to in a neighbor, that challenge is coming up soon. And he doesn't want to probably remove somebody or condemn them publicly. And then he may have to rely on those persons' support. That is where the battle lines are drawn, you know. So he's fighting for his political career right now, but doesn't want it to seem that way. And that's a part of the story many persons, and definitely People's National Party supporters and surrogates, will never admit to. But that is a reality that Mark Golding is facing, and only he can come out and give that truth, which he won't. But that statement was underwhelming. It was one that's forced. And when you look at it, neighbor, it shows the type of leader he is, or rather, that he's not a leader.
Listen to Mr. Hughes on that matter. We're coming back to you.
And those factors may have weighed on him. But it is in moments like those that you have to hold to your conviction and say, listen, to have two of my executive members be caught on tape saying, listen, the extreme partisanship of their thoughts and action must, as the Observer says in its editorial yesterday, eclipse the national interest. That is simply unacceptable. Unacceptable. This is about Jamaica. You cannot, Mr. Golding, countenance any member of your National Executive Council or executive of the party putting the national interest below the partisan interest of the PNP. And I think, you know, they underestimated the public sense of revulsion, of outrage over this. They underestimated that. And that's why it took him a week before he responded. And when he responded, he failed to condemn that. And that is the issue, Marky G, why people are up in arms. How could they, when half of Jamaica mash up, thousands of people suffer? Huh? What, Goldie?
Scratchy, you spoke on this last night. Are you there, Scratch?
Yes, neighbor.
Yeah, and social media has not let up on this, Scratchy, at all. The country, the Observer had an editorial on it. I'm asking the producer to get the editorial for me. The Gleaner reported on it today. RGR has reported in it. CVM has reported on it. I see where Best FM, Richie B, had Mr. Morgan on it. Dion Jackson Miller had Mr. Morgan on the Beyond the Headlines today. She did a podcast, and it's all over the country. Scratchy. This matter is gaining momentum, and it's almost catching fire. Did you expect it to be such a potent political story?
As I said on previous occasion in the neighbor, once it wasn't just put out there, neighbor, our nationwide wasn't the only one running with it, neighbor. I want other media houses
Took it up.
see it, neighbor, and taking it up. It will definitely gain some form of traction. Yes, and we have seen, neighbor, where compared to the whole FID thing, where the media houses, neighbor, didn't take up the whole FID thing and run with the FID thing, neighbor. But I'm happy to know that they took up this one, neighbor, and decide to run with it and it gaining some form of traction. You know, and one of the good things, neighbor, that this has also done, neighbor, is that we can safely say that we won't be getting any more of those annoying stress conference on the PNP anytime soon.
No, we're getting one tomorrow. We're getting one tomorrow. We are getting one tomorrow. Actually getting one tomorrow, Scratchy.
Oh, did they have one tomorrow?
Oh, yes, on local government.
It was as one with
yes.
The one yesterday was cancelled.
The one yesterday was
the current tomorrow, so I hope the media neighbor come prepared.
Yes. Hold on. Yes, Cressy, go ahead.
Hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
Yes, I'm saying I hope the media come prepared tomorrow. Yeah, I hope the media come prepared tomorrow. I'm ready to ask the right questions, neighbor, and bore to my bowling statement he made yesterday. But definitely, maybe I want that old neighbor to know that other media houses have took it up, neighbor, and decide to run with it, neighbor, and bring some form of attention to it.
Mr. Finlay?
So, neighbor.
Is this the power? Is this the influence of social media? Don't we have to acknowledge now, Mr. Finlay, that whether you like it or not, I see Nationwide, for example, reporting that social media or online people have been outraged about this. We have to acknowledge now that social media is a potent force in Mr. Finlay.
Yeah, but I've said this to you before. Let me repeat.
Yes.
Before social media, the PNP was able to win 4 consecutive general elections. Since social media, the Jamaica Labour Party has won 4 general elections.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yes. The power of social media is real. But neighbor, you see this leak voice note?
Yes.
It is such an important leaked information, neighbor, that it could not be swept under the carpet by the Gleaner, by the Observer, by any of the media houses in Jamaica. None of them could sweep a party blatantly discussing sabotaging the progress of the government. Yeah, they could not be swept under the table. It had to be dealt with. Mark Golden and the PNP are used to sitting it out. It is quiet in the media, and what a set of people that they call the articulated minority were the ones making the noise that they could wait it out. But this one, neighbor, this one is bigger than even Dennis Garden, because while they couldn't ignore Dennis Garden, they could not ignore this. The Gleaner, the Observer, Jamaican for Justice. When
yes.
You see, then the people that come out and speak on it, it could not be ignored. It could not be swept under the counter. Neighbor. And that is what forced Mark Golden hand to come out and give what is a half-hearted response. And then now, tomorrow, they're going to try to create more distraction. But let me tell you how this press conference is going to go tomorrow. Scratchy said, want me to come with question. They're going to line up behind the mic. They're going to speak with tears in their eyes. Then they're going to take 2 prearranged questions, answer time up. That's how tomorrow's going to go. No more than 2 prearranged questions. Answer time up. We're not going with no more. We don't have more time for questions. Because they're not going to today, because of the whole this issue is big, they're not going to face any question from the media. Yesterday at their NAC meeting, they could not take any question from the media, and they're not going to take any question at the so-called press briefing tomorrow, because that's a press conference, a press briefing.
It's on local government.
100%. Yes. Cliff Hughes is 100% right. Mark Golden failed to show that he has leadership qualities yesterday. Because guess what? He picked what was probably good for him. It was good for me to keep quiet. As Scotty said, we might want them support, or Harry, we might want them support, so we're not going to say anything. That's not our leader at Williams failed yesterday to prove that he's a leader, that he's in any contention to lead this country. Yeah, but he can't even lead the party. Fail miserably.
Yeah.
Miserably. And we on social media will be reminding him and the PNP of that for a long time to come.
Yeah. Member Harry, can you bring me? You have the editorial there from the Observer, member.
Let me check for it, neighbor.
Okay.
I only had the snippet of it, but let me check. Give me a sec.
All right. So in the meantime, listen to George Davis as he tries to give the PNP some advice as how they should have responded. George Davis on this morning, Nationwide this morning. Listen.
What the opposition leader should have done on Sunday, and to say what the opposition leader should have said in the circumstances. This is me being Mark Jefferson Golding, the PNP.
Well, Mr. George, George Davis wore a orange tie to work this morning, and he wants to give the PNP some advice. I must tell you the truth. Up until now, I haven't shared my views on this tape, leak audio. I think I may do so soon, but I don't think the PNP will recover from it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I think it's a bad place the PNP has found themselves in. It's a bad space. Yesterday we dealt with Dion Jackson. I see you, Kimmy, come in. Dion Jackson Miller, PNP, wicked. When
you lose and you lose a lot.
When you hear Dion Jackson Miller calling them wicked, when you hear Dion Jackson calling them wicked, then when you see JFJ and RGR and the Glean up, I think that the PNP is in a bad place here. I don't see how they're going to recover from this at all. Listen to George Davis.
President. Comrades, good morning to you. Thank you for coming out to the NEC today. You would have been aware of 2 voice notes from PNP members leaked into the public domain, and the voice notes transmitted ideas and comments that do not align with the PNP that I lead. And I want to say up front, comrades, I reject every assertion and or suggestion made in the voice notes. The comrades heard speaking are good people. I have spoken to them behind the scenes, and I have said to them that I am disappointed that they would articulate those statements. And yes, the statements were made in a private forum, but the damage that attends to it and those statements being in the public domain is something that this party has been dealing with since that the story of the voice notes was first reported by that media host. May I thank the media hosts also for reporting those voice notes, because we're...
Sorry, do you have the editorial there, member?
I have the one from the Gleaner, neighbor.
No, but the Observer. The Jamaica Observer.
Let me check the one for Observer.
We're gonna try and see.
Harry, I sent it to you. But please allow me to interrupt. We have over 300 people on YouTube, and we're asking you all to give the thumbs up for the live stream over there, please. Thanks. And for please repost the live, please.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that's it. By the way, the Jamaica Labour Party this morning, through its spokesman, Mr. Abka Fitzhenley, he made a comment on it. Here is what he said.
A strong condemnation of
this is Abka.
Absolutely embarrassing and shameful that the opposition will address this matter of leaked voice notes for approximately 2 minutes. And at no time did he issue a strong condemnation of the assertion from a member of the PNP executive that the party is prepared to pursue delay tactics to stop major projects on the NARA, which are intended to help Jamaican communities recover stronger and to assist our fellow Jamaicans to live back their lives. Secondly, what I'm advised that Golding cannot deny is that the group is made up of the majority of members of the PNP executive, which is co-opted members. And the group is called executive members and has the PNP logo as its display photograph. Therefore, his comments on the matter, at minimum, appear inaccurate and misleading. It is also shameful that Golding did not address another statement made by a member of the PNP executive, where she intimated that the corruption argument cannot be attached to Major General Anderson, who she admitted was an upstanding Jamaican, but went on to discuss the possibility of attaching the corruption argument to him. Totally unacceptable, but not surprising that Golding did not address that matter. And Jamaicans should not be taken aback that he did not do so, because the way his PNP has conducted itself is in a manner where it has shown that it is fully prepared to malign upstanding Jamaicans in order to secure political gain.
You hear that? That's the Jamaica Labour Party. Quicker off the draw. You know, the Labour Party, I must tell you, is improving. You know, they are doing much better with their communications these days. It's fascinating. Anyway, member, you ready for me? The Jamaica Observer. The Jamaica Observer editorial. Yes, I want to listen to this, listeners. Go ahead, member.
All right, so it's an editorial from the Jamaica Observer,
yes,
titled "Partisan Ambition Must Never Eclipse the National Interest."
Say that again. Partisan ambition must never
eclipse the national interest.
Wow. Go ahead.
All right. It says the leadership is measured not only by what is said in moments of political convenience, but by what is left unsaid when principle demands a voice. It is against that standard that the People's National Party must now be judged.
Wow.
The party's deafening silence over the reported leaked voice notes allegedly involving two members of its National Executive Council has become impossible to ignore.
Wow.
In politics, silence is seldom neutral. More often, it is interpreted as acquiescence, and that is the unfortunate impression the PNP continues to create. If the reported recordings are authentic, they reveal a disturbing conversation that strikes at the very heart of patriotism and responsible governance.
Hold on there now. So that the Observer is saying that, that it strikes at the heart of what?
Patriotism and responsible governance.
So the PNP, the Observer is saying, is being unpatriotic and they are not responsible in terms of governing. That is the editorial board of the Jamaica Observer saying that, Go ahead, member.
At a time when Jamaicans are struggling to recover from the devastation wrought by Hurricane Melissa, the discussion was not about strengthening national recovery or placing country above party. Instead, it centered on delaying and undermining the work of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority, NARA, for perceived political advantage.
My God.
Such conduct, if accurately represented, exposes the ugly underbelly of Jamaican politics, a culture in which partisan ambition is allowed to eclipse the national interest. There can be no justification for frustrating or obstructing an initiative designed to bring relief to citizens who have lost homes and livelihoods. The victims of Hurricane Melissa deserve compassion and urgency, not political gamesmanship.
Yes.
Equally disturbing is the reported discussion concerning NARA Chief Executive Officer Major General Anthony Anderson. According to the voice notes, one participant reportedly acknowledged that General Anderson would be difficult to portray as corrupt because of his sterling record of public service. Yet, despite the concession, the conversation turned to strategies aimed at damaging his reputation. That should alarm every Jamaican.
Oh, hold on there. You agree with the Observer there? So, remember that every Jamaican should be alarmed at that.
They should, neighbor, including those of the People's National Party from the West.
In other words, this conversation not even start yet in terms of the gravity of it.
No, it hasn't. And when you go further in a neighbor, it shows that they're willing to sacrifice the dignity and the livelihood of those who voted for them. And they're rather to perform the performative politics in parliament and so on, as if they're doing anything to help these people.
My goodness, we are reading the Jamaica Observer editorial that came out in the Jamaica Observer on Sunday. Member Harry has it and he's reading from it. Go ahead, member.
General Anderson has dedicated years of distinguished service to this nation, first in the Jamaica Defense Force, later as police commissioner, then as ambassador to the United States. Now he is leading one of the country's most important recovery institutions. One need not agree with every government policy to recognize that public servants of integrity should never become collateral damage in cynical political warfare. Character assassination is not opposition. It is moral bankruptcy.
Thank you. Well, I think the Observer has hit it right there. So, Harry, that character assassination have no place in politics.
It doesn't, and it is not something you should employ, neighbor, as a strategy because you're failing to come up in the right capacity as an opposition.
And it also inhibits the best talents from joining the process, like Audrey Marks.
It definitely does, neighbor, because a lot of persons are looking at it to say, listen, I spent all these years building myself, building my brand, what I stand for, and now I want to give back to my country, and then this is what I'm going to go up against. Then I rather not.
And that is one of the things from the voice. Yeah, that is one of the things from the voice note that I think that Jamaicans ought to look at, because this destroys the foundations of the democracy, Harry. Because when public servants or when people of integrity, people who want to serve, finds themselves in a place where they think that no matter how honest I am, politics is going to find a way to nasty me up, then they'll stay where they are.
Exactly. And especially in our time now, neighbor, where we see things are changing, to see these people going out of their very way to try and tear you down when you want to do something that they were elected to do, it is their duty, their responsibility. And they're weaponizing and employing strategies to not only delay the resources for the people, but also to take down every and anyone who stands for what is right.
Complete the editorial for me, please.
It says, the greatest disappointment, however, lies not merely in the contents of the recordings, but in the absence of a response from the PNP's leadership. A party aspiring to govern should have moved swiftly to reassure the country that any attempt to undermine disaster recovery or orchestrate unfounded attacks against respected public officials does not reflect its values.
Yes.
That silence raises profound questions about the party's moral fitness to govern.
Wow! You hear that?
I'm going to read it again so the listeners can hear, neighbor.
Yes.
That silence raises profound questions about the party's moral fitness to govern.
The Observer is questioning the People's National Party's moral fitness to govern. It is a very serious question, Harry.
It is. And it leaves more questions and answers in a neighbor, because I don't think there's any prolific and accepted response after this from anybody in the leadership of the PNP.
Let us ask the listeners. Listeners, do you think that that the PNP is morally, ethically able? Can the PNP morally or ethically govern after this? Do you think that the PNP can really recover to govern? Can they enjoy your confidence as you listen to this program tonight, and you are listening to the Jamaica Observer, not HelloNeighbour and Member Harry. You are listening to a national newspaper asking if the PNP has the moral authority to seek your vote, your confidence, in a national election. What do you think about? Put your comments in the chat. Yes? Go ahead, member.
Leadership demands clarity, courage, and an unwavering commitment to national interest. When those qualities are absent, it demands unequivocal condemnation, as confidence in a party's readiness for office is inevitably diminished.
What? The confidence in
a party's readiness for office is inevitably diminished.
Diminished. In other words, they're not ready for office, eh? They're not ready to lead.
And if you want to be nice, neighbor, we can say they're not viable at the polls.
Boy, what a Harry, how the PNP managed to get themselves in this mess?
Neighbor, I strongly believe, you see, those who leak this voice note is trying to unseat a weak leadership and to kind of stir the pot a little so somebody else comes out. It is something they're known to do, neighbor. It is not. The only difference now with the voice note is that is the medium. Remember in 2020 when they were ripping each other apart, you know, there was a public spat, right? And this is just the starting of something similar. And I don't think they will lose 150,000 votes as they did in 2020. This probably be worse because to build back from this, it's not just about losing 150,000 people.
The trust you have lost, the trust of the Jamaican people.
They've lost the trust, not just from who they're up against, neighbor, not just from who are their base, but you see that undecided, them can't get them people if they come across again, neighbor.
Just a minute here. My understanding is that George Wright from Central Westmoreland is wanting to join us, or George Wright, please send a request to the producer now, and she'll pick you right up. We'll talk to you a little bit following Member Harry. Member Harry, finish the editorial, the Jamaica Observer editorial on Sunday. It is fascinating. Go ahead.
Yet the silence has not been confined to the opposition. The voices that so often proclaim themselves guardians of democracy have also been conspicuously muted.
Who the Observer is talking about there now? The civil society.
Hear them now, neighbor? Yes.
Yeah, let's hear them.
And I hear Cliff Hughes mentioned one earlier today. The church group. You know, they were saying that prior for PNP, they were known back in the days. But let's hear who they have spoken about.
Yes.
So it says, outside of Jamaicans for Justice, which last week called on the PNP to distance itself from any suggestion of partisan tactics that could undermine NARA's work, where are the civil society organizations that routinely routinely lecture the nation on accountability? Neighbor, we are called out jump.
Where are they?
Is Jeanette Calder? Where is she, neighbor? Nobody can find her, right? It says, where is the moral outrage from the influential church leaders? Where is the principled intervention of the private sector, whose leaders frequently emphasize the importance of good governance and national stability? Is the Jamaica Accountability Meter portal still alive?
the Jamaica Observer is asking that.
Yes.
That's Jam. That's Judith Calder.
The Calder, right?
Are they? The Observer is asking if they are dead.
They're asking where are they? Right? No, it says selective indignation is no indignation at all. Principles that are applied only when politically convenient cease to be principles and become instruments of expediency. If these institutions expect Jamaicans to take their advocacy seriously, they cannot remain silent when allegations of this gravity emerge.
True.
Jamaica deserves better. Our democracy cannot flourish if political calculation is allowed to triumph over patriotism.
Yes.
If reputations are sacrificed for partisan gain, or if national recovery becomes a casualty of electoral strategy.
Mercy. The Observer is on point here. That's it?
That's it, neighbor.
Harry, you're a fine man. How would you rate this editorial?
Neighbor, I'd say they've stopped short on a few things,
Uh-huh.
right? But they have asked critical questions, and they've also been critical of the situation. Now, could they have, gone in a little deeper? I think yes, based on the magnitude of this, but I think they've done a fine job. And neighbor, I think everybody who has listened to us for a while knows that I grade hard.
Yeah, but that's why I asked you. But by the way,
but it's clear to me that there are a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see speed. They believe if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And we need to change that culture. But there are also a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see NARA succeed. It's not in their political interest for NARA to succeed, and we must call them out. They hide under all kinds of names, claim to be parts of civil society when they're not. They are political activists, and we must call them by the name. And I stand here frankly and say that. But it's clear to me that there are a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see speed. They believe if it didn't take long, it wasn't well done. And we need to change that culture. But there are also a set of Jamaicans who don't want to see NARA succeed. It's not in their political interest for NARA to succeed, and we must call them out. They hide under all kinds of names, claim to be parts of civil society when they're not. They are political activists, and we must call them by the name. And I stand here frankly and say that. But it's clear to me that...
Harry, let me go to Kimmy. I'll come back to you. Good evening to you, Kimmy. Hi. Hello. You've been waiting for a while. Kimmy? No, not Wayne Davison. Hi. Good evening, Wayne. Good evening, Wayne. No, we don't have Wayne. Harry? Ultimately, leaders take responsibility. Do you think that probably Golden ought to offer his resignation?
That is the least, neighbor. That is the very least, because he has not only chose party over country.
He has made the matter worse, right?
He has made it even worse, neighbor, by also being unable to hold anybody political accountable.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because he has one thing. Let me see if I can find it. He wanted to say something along the lines of slowly distancing the party from it, to say, oh, it is not a party.
So you're telling...
Yeah.
You failed. First of all, Mario Mitchell is a councillor.
Yes.
So you cannot distance anything from the party. He is a representative. The other lady, the reason why she's not a councillor is because she lost. So she's a caretaker councillor. They both representation of politics for the People's National Party. So this isn't about whether the group is certified or verified a People's National Party group. No. The conversation has moved to say, listen, these are politically representatives of the people, regardless as to what level. They are members of your party and they hold some power whatsoever. Especially in neighbor. We've seen evidence, and I said to that $70 million that went down to Westmoreland, right? Hardcore evidence to say they're looking to delay. That is at the parish council level. Mario Mitchell may not be down there, but he is a parish council representative as a councillor. So that is immaterial to it. Whether the group is sanctioned by the PNP, yes or no, it doesn't matter. You have to speak to the character of these individuals and what it says about the People's National Party.
Yeah.
And Mark has failed that way.
The Jamaica Labour Party, Matthew Samuda, he's the member of parliament for North East St. Anne, described as wicked the statements made by the PNP executive plotting to undermine NARA. Here is Mr. Samuda
Says the content of the leaked voice notes lays bare the mentality of the PNP. Samuda, the MP for Northeast St. Anne, was addressing supporters at a meeting of the GLP's Area Council 3 in Manchester on Sunday.
When they tell you that their job is to obstruct your work, you need to believe them. And you say, I'm happy that that voice note has come out. Not because they're taking a beating, but because when some of us were telling the public that there are people in the system that are obstructing the prosperity of citizens. Some say, no, I love this story. It's political talk. Well, ladies and gentlemen, them tell you them obstructing what we have been doing. But that should have been evident to the public a long time ago. But labor rights, keep your ears to the ground. I expect to hear some more very soon.
You hear that? Keep your ears to the ground, because more is going to come out. Fascinating stuff coming in the days ahead. You can't afford to go anywhere. Stay right here. Kimmy, good evening to you. Hello? Kimmy? All right. Kimmy is not there. Are you there, Kimmy? No. Kimmy is not there. Well, let's listen a little bit to Mrs. Dion Jackson.
These people have done so much damage to the country.
These people have done so much damage to the country. That is Miss Dion Jackson Miller. Listen to her.
These people have done so much damage to the country. The only word that comes to my mind when I'm hearing this is there are three important things that come out of all of this, right, that we need to bear in mind.
Dion Jackson Miller, time for tea. 14 after 10 o'clock. Let's see who we have online. Producer, open the lines for me. Let me have a little talk with my callers and see what they have to say. With that, we can take 15 minutes. Go ahead. Who do we have first?
Asking our YouTube listeners to give us the thumbs up over there, please.
Please, YouTube, thumbs up, subscribe. Have you subscribed to the channel? You want to do that, and please like the channel, and please take note of the that red thing going across your screen, the tracker. Yeah, please support the Hello Neighbor show. Let's see who we have online. Can't give anybody more than about 2-3 minutes. Honeybee, hi. Hello,
neighbor. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
I must say, I listened to Edward Warmington today.
Yes, you did.
I let him know because I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I always said to everyone, Edward Warmington is my favorite member of Parliament. I tell him to his face because he is a man that don't mince words, and I like the fact that he speaks his mind and he tell you what exactly is on his mind. I rather you tell me what is on your mind than be the hypocrite. And that's what I like about Warmington. And another thing I wanted to mention from last night listening to the program is that the statement of the opposition leader didn't surprise me at all. And I can remember listening to the statement that he said, and he did not say that he was disappointed in the what was said on the vice note. He said that it was an opinion of the people that was speaking, and it is their opinion.
Yes.
But the opinion, what the plans that they have in that vice note is to benefit you and the party.
Yes.
So you can't distance yourself from it because it is there to benefit you for power. So I don't understand how he's trying. And the statement, I was not disappointed because I did not expect anything from him. But I don't see how this man expect to lead us if he can't distance himself or even say he's disappointed in something as that vice note. So what kind of leader would he be? So for me, I already know that he was not. He has no leadership qualities, and I can remember what Natalie said on JPU. She said that's what they do. They character assassinate people. She has been telling us that for over a year, that that's what they do. It's their style of politics. So with that, bear that in mind, that I don't expect anything else. This is their playbook name, but they don't do anything else. So it's going to be foreign for them to go any other way. And he's fighting for his political future and political life. So I guess he just don't know what to do. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place, as far as I'm concerned. Which where he needs to be, because he needs to go.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going over YouTube, ma'am. The YouTube line is amazingly busy. There's a man over there, Miss Curiosity Kid. Miss Curiosity Kid on YouTube. I see your messages. Have you removed her, moderator? I'm not seeing her anymore. Okay, I wanted to address her, but I realized that her comments have been removed. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that I see where the comrades are suggesting that the Labourites are afraid of Mr. Golding. Afraid of Mr. Golding? What do you mean afraid of Mr. Golding? Afraid? What do you mean? Afraid of Mr. Golding? You know, Mr. Golding was the leader of the party at the last election, you know, and he lost. Why would they be afraid of Mr. Golding if Mr. Golding already lost the election? I don't know. I don't understand what the PNP people are saying here at all. They want us to talk about other matters like Central Kingston and so forth. But you don't determine what we speak about here, caller. You want to talk about those matters, turn on your live or your phone and talk about what you want to talk about. You don't tell us what to talk about. No. We don't talk about what we want. Anyway, thank you for listening. Good evening to you, Kimmy. Hello? Oh. Kimmy? Time is going, please. Hello, take Kimmy. No, this is the third or fourth time we can't connect with Kimmy. Good evening to you, Ade Taylor. Hi. Taylor? No, not hearing nothing from Taylor. But the birds, the crickets in the background. Yeah, Honeybee, you finished?
Yes, neighbor. I was just saying that listening to Cliff Hughes today, and he was, in his opinion, he was disappointed in what he said. It seemed like the opposition leader was forced to put out his statement that he put out yesterday. So I don't know really why. I was expecting them to at least try and say they are investigating or something from earlier. When they didn't come out with anything like that, I was not expecting any release from them. And I'm still waiting. Honestly, I'm still waiting to hear what the church has to say about that vice note. They are so quiet, and they were all up about integrity when it comes to the Prime Minister, and I'm still waiting to hear what they're saying about that vice note. Not hearing anything on that end. So I am really, really not expecting much from civil society. And with the PNP, that's their playbook, and they're not going to change. And they came out the other day, I don't know if you had heard, when Flight Green come out about the thing with Rather. I don't know if you hear about that, neighbor.
I did, yes.
Yes. And it was the thing that I went to the supermarket Saturday, and when I was pushing my trolley in the supermarket, and the lady said, and we can't even plant little things in our yard, and I'm like, eavesdropping on their conversation. The next day they said to her, what you talking about? Then me not have my little things done. You know, you hear them say you have to get permission from rather lady. They said not that damn thing, don't go say excuse me language. What if you stop listening to propaganda?
Okay.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that they come with. So they're attacking from all end, neighbor.
Yeah.
So as I said, the labor rights has to keep going, and neighbor, your show now more than ever is important of enlightening the people of the things that matters.
Oh yes,
And-
ma'am. And thanks to Caroline, ma'am.
Yes.
She's the one
Yes.
keeping it going.
Caroline, thank you so
Uh-huh.
much for your work. And I know it's not easy for you to be out every night, neighbor. But I don't know about anybody, but I must say I do thank you and I appreciate your program. And we just hoping that you can continue to do what
with the
you're
support
doing
with
to
the support
enlighten
of my
people.
listeners, ma'am. I shall do it.
Right. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Thank you too. Okay, that's it for the callers. Producer, that's it for the callers.
Yes, neighbor.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Member Harry.
Yes, neighbor.
We go into the 64th emancipation celebration. Member Harry, we're 64 years old, and obviously we will take a break on the weekend to celebrate with our fellow brothers and sisters across Jamaica. But don't you find, Harry, that this moment for Jamaica represents a point for us to pause, even as we go into our emancipation celebration, to look at where are we really going as a country, Harry? Because this is almost treasonous when you think about it, coming from the opposition, you know. And we're left really with one viable political party. So Jamaica as a democracy has a problem.
It definitely does, neighbor. It doesn't bode well for the political arena as it stands. And I know in terms of the labor rights, you're going to say, yes, this is what we want. I totally do get that, right? And that is a bias coming out from the labor rights. But the truth is that, neighbor, it is sad to get an idea publicly, something that's not hidden, and to be able to look at what we call an opposition in today's political sphere. And it doesn't look well for democracy, right? In fact, if we're not careful, we might not have a democracy in the true sense of it, you know.
Yes, and that is something that you know, Harry, concerns me, because there's no question that the majority of persons listening to this program tonight would want the Labour Party to get a fourth term, and I think that would be in Jamaica's best interest for the Labour Party to continue in government. But then you want a viable opposition, you know, Harry, you do. And this one here has lost its viability.
This one is self-destructing, neighbor, in an attempt to try and claw back power. And this is one of the things when you operate out of desperation, neighbor. This is what you get as an opposition when you're so power hunger.
Yes, when the focus is not on serving the people, but on acquiring power, that becomes a problem, eh?
This is the heartbeat of the issue, right? You, on one hand, you have an administration putting the people first as best as possible with all conditions considered, while you, on the other hand, you have an opposition over there that is willing to tear down and sacrifice the people they should serve, including in a neighbor. Therefore, 101. No, you can't have an opposition like that in your politics, especially. Let's say they're in the politics. You cannot have them close to the home of governance, neighbor, because you will never have proper governance.
And then when you look at their performance in government, you get the sense that this is how they govern, in the thinking of the party. When you transcribe that to government and you look at when they were in power in the 1970s, in the 1990s, it was party first.
Always, neighbor, right? Always. And the thing about it, you know, Edward Seaga said it best. The People's National Party under PJ Patterson has been the only political party we know that starts campaigning right after another election. Immediately. And we're seeing now, neighbor, with this opposition who is so desperate for power, Them start campaign even before the last election done. For this one.
Yeah.
And
shame.
That let us look and to see that, listen, they aren't good for the people of Jamaica. Not even for the lower tier people in their hierarchical structure. It isn't good for them.
Yeah. Let's see if we can take Dada. Hello to you, sir.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Yeah, service chair from the topic of the program. Yeah, but I have one thing to say. Neighbor, I'm in foreign because they come up with this new word, they say diaspora. And when I was growing, when my grandpeople, them used to foreign me know about.
But you know, sir, hold on. You know, sir, the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones, you know. You know about the Stone Age, sir?
Stone Age.
Stone Age.
Stone Age. Oh.
You ever hear about the Stone Age?
No, sir, I have not given a look inside.
Come on. Yeah, anyway. There are dispensations across. Humanity has existed for thousands of years, you know, sir. Thousands of years.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, can you think of a beginning of the world? Think of it.
No.
Yeah?
A beginning of the world?
Yes. Can you think of when the world began?
I try, but probably my Chinese not.
Nor mine. And I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything. I just want to teach you something, sir.
Yeah.
That so there have been, humanity has existed for thousands of years, sir. Long time.
Yeah.
We move through time. We move through time, sir, and we adopt. Hold on, we adopt. Did you know, sir, that there was a time when hold on, man, when men live in caves?
Yeah,
and on the tents, they were what is called nomadic. You know, they didn't have any abiding city. They just moved across the world or where they lived.
Yeah.
Today, men acquire land and build house. Not true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
sorry to say, but I'm gonna make my point quick now. What I say, I hear this new word say diaspora, but you know, we are young people here, we understand diaspora, but longer run we know about foreigner. Do you know why the diaspora keep fighting this government?
Are they fighting the government?
Yeah, some of them protest all about in this.
No, but you know, sir, political parties do not end when they go on a plane. So if you're a Labourite, when you get into the diaspora, then you are a Labourite, and if you're a PNP, then you practice your politics wherever in the world you are. You don't see that?
Yeah, but I am in the state right now, and some of those people that keep talking about Jamaica not doing good, they're scared to go back to Jamaica.
They don't want to come back home?
Yeah, they're scared. Some of them, they're scared because they don't left a foundation down there. From 2016, everything going good. And some of them leave their local nephew or something down there. They have their house down there and certain things down there. And if them for come back now, it's gonna look away on them. So they stay up in the States now and say them fighting the government because the government doing good. So they're scared to go back down. That's what I get to understand up here. Cause I live in the diaspora. So when I talk to some of them, that's what I understand about them.
Yes.
Yeah, they're scared. They're scared to go back down.
You mean that it is their own fears that they are expressing.
Yeah, not fear like violence now.
Yeah, I understand, man.
Ambition and wise and saying then they up there for 40 years. And they did do anything in Jamaica.
Yes.
They did buy a block in Jamaica.
Yes.
Then they buy a steel, and when they look, they see some local younger people.
Yes.
Achieving certain things, they look never would then leave for much years and certain things, achieving certain things, so they're kind of scared.
Yes. Yeah, well.
Not about the violence, but they're scared because the ambition with the younger generation.
I understand you fully, sir. I understand you fully.
And the opportunity that they have now down there. Because remember, you can go hard, you can go and get your certain things. They're afraid to go down there, neighbor. I listen to most of them neighbor right now. I listen to some of them, they left for 35 years. I will not ask them plain, but I just go on the corner and ask them, say, so, do not yard, build nothing. No, sir. But Andrew Wallace now go and go down there.
Yeah.
That's me I hear.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew Wallace now go and go down there. Remember, them not go down for 10 years.
They haven't been here for a while now. Oh, they know that, eh? The fascinating, is it?
Yes. So sometimes you see them up here, say them are protest and this and that. Those are those type of people up here protesting.
Oh, okay. Well, Dada, we don't have a lot of time left, you see. So take care of yourself. Catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll come again.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself and blessings to you. All right. Patrick
thanks.
Nago. Hello. Patrick, are you there? No. And yes, I. Civil Blessed. Good night. Civil Blessed. No. Okay. Let's put a wrap on the program then. Let's go over back to member Harry and bring the curtains down. So member,
Yes, neighbor.
I was saying to you that as we, step into Independence celebration, that the country really should look at 64 years and we are struggling. We are still struggling, Harry, with one of our political party. A big letdown. It's going to be a major talking point. What a letdown from the PNP. We all feel shame, eh?
Of course, neighbor. It would give yield to something. I saw a video, neighbor, where I believe it's a European person that was speaking to say, the darker nations in terms of Black and African nations are unable to govern themselves. And if we are to attach that perspective to what's happening now, it would show that the People's National Party, had they been in power, just might have, subscribed to that belief. But we have a good example as to the Jamaica Labour Party administration exercising and showing the people what responsible governance looks like, what does patriotism encompasses, and also proper risk management in handling the country's affairs, neighbor, in some of the harshest times. And for that, we can look to say at least a decade, for the latter part of that 64, we are getting to where we should have been for quite a while. But unfortunately, the politics we've played in that 64 years for the greater part has, thwarted the growth and development of Jamaica significantly. And we have to do some psychoanalysis as individuals, as Jamaicans, to ensure that we take stock as to who we put in leadership position, as well as the accountability meter that we ascribe to, right? That who do we put in place? And this goes for not just politicians overall, but the other institutions and their leadership that are designed to hold these people accountable. We have to look critically, right? Put it under the microscopic lens and ensure that we examined the character and the effectiveness of these people, because they are the ones who help shape the political arena and governance structure that impacts the average citizen's life in a neighbor. And that is where we have failed as a country, because we can't blame just a party, neighbor. As a collective, we have to share the load and share the blame. even if we are the ones who did it, because that's the only way we can move forward. And I think going on to 64, I think that is something we have to look very careful on neighbor, right? That would be 14 years into the second half, going to a century, and we have to get it right as a people, not just as political parties or as government, but as a people. We have to get it right.
Yeah, and you know, Harry, I was on the road today, and you know, did a little bit of talking to some people, and you would be amazed, you know, Harry, that so many Jamaicans are unaware of this voice note. Then they don't know about it, and that is part of the sadness of our democracy, is that our people are not showing sufficient interest in the civic information, civic knowledge, and they are largely civic illiterate. I want to pause though to say good night to two very special ladies who are listening to the program at this time, Diane and Keisha. Diane and Keisha. Well, Diane and Keisha, I hope I'm getting that pronunciation correct, Dianne. That's Diane, Harry.
Yes, neighbor.
Yes, Diane and Keisha are Caroline's sisters. So Keisha and Diane, Caroline's sisters, listening to the Hello Neighbor show, and right here on the Politics Matter Network with your host, Hello Neighbor, and Caroline. So Caroline has successfully gotten her sisters to listen to the show. Welcome. Say good night to Diane and Keisha for me, Harry.
Well, you know, neighbor, we always welcome the family of Caroline, you know, neighbor. Okay, we can't leave them out.
Yes.
Because, of course, they will
tell them thanks for lending her to us.
Well, I don't even think they have a choice, because when Caroline said that mind in the neighbor,
Yes.
But it's good to know that, you know, we have the family.
Yes.
Of Caroline here as well, neighbor. And they're also lending support, because being here, you know, and being attentive is something we appreciate.
Look at
from
that.
The Hello Neighbor show.
That's great. Well, Diane, good night to you. And Keisha, lovely. Keisha, you are the one I met down in downtown Kingston. Well, great Keisha. Thank you so much, and welcome. Come again tomorrow, okay? Nice to have you. And we trust that you will join us again tomorrow when we turn the pages of the program over again. Let's go over to YouTube and tell them good night. Hey, YouTube. Well, this is the program for tonight. You hear? We're going to be back tomorrow, and we'll try and come early. But we thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing with us the Politics Matter Network, conversations that matter. We welcome you here every night at 7 o'clock to the show, the Hello Neighbor show, and we ask you to subscribe to the channel. We ask you to like, we ask you to share, and we say keep the chat active and support the show. Our Zelle account is 954-635-8732. That's 954-635-8732. Help us to keep going and to come again tomorrow. You can WhatsApp at 876-858-9553. That's 876-858-9553. Politics Matter, JA, the Hello Neighbor show.
The number one more time for me, neighbor, please.
Which one? Which one are the numbers?
The WhatsApp number.
Okay.
WhatsApp number.
876-858-9553. That's 876-858-9553. 876-858-9553. WhatsApp us. Do you have a small business or a business and you want to sponsor the show? You want to sponsor a segment in the show? You want to get your business going across the tracker? We can do that for you. We do accept your sponsorship, and we want to grow with you and to build your business together. We do have thousands of listeners every week on the Hello Neighbor show, and we can help you to grow your business. So if you want to advertise with us, 876-858-9553. Or you can WhatsApp us and tell us how you can support the program. with a gift, with a contribution, with a sponsorship. If you are overseas, the Zelle account, of course, is 954-635-8732. 954-635-8732. Until we meet you again tomorrow, have a fantastic rest of the night and take good care, okay? Bye-bye. All right. Let's come over here to TikTok. And for TikTok,